So today we have a video of Legendary Drops, one of my favorite content creators, talking about increasing gaming console prices, which we are going to see today. We are going to react to it. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Okay, let's go. One, two, three.
Imagine being blamed for not buying enough when they're the ones that are making everything too expensive to buy. How many of you guys have been sitting around asking, when is this going to stop? It's now got to the point where the price to just live, let alone even buy a video game, is getting out of the reach of damn near everyone. And now we have PlayStation raising their prices for the second time in less than a year, $100 across the board. And this is coming off of the tail of other price increases that we've seen already throughout the entire industry: Nintendo, Xbox, PC gaming hardware. It just feels like it won't stop. All these guys are sitting around, these executives, talking about how all these price increases are supposed to feel inevitable. Like it's just a bridge that we have to cross, but that bridge is now turned into an escalator that the vast majority of people cannot afford to get on. None of this is necessary. They're all lying to you, every single one of them. They can cry AI, they can talk about market headwinds, they can talk about shortages or inflation or whatever they want. But at the end of the day, all this is these are companies that do not want to take any accountability. They would much rather hand over and pass down their mistakes to you, the customer, and make you pay the cost of it.
I mean, at this point, I'm convinced that only gaming company which is like a major gaming company which is in favor of customers is Valve and Steam. I don't see any other major gaming company who prefers customers over their own profit. I mean, if you prefer customers, you give them good service and everything, you will eventually make a profit out of it. People will have goodwill about you. People will buy your products. They will cherish you. But yeah, that's my opinion.
They have taken our dedication, they have taken our loyalty, they have taken our money, and they have done nothing but churn out garbage games. Now they want to blame us for it. This entire industry is just going to eat itself alive. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about where these prices are coming from. How apparently now video games are being made for the rich. What that's going to do for society, and also how all of this is just going to end up in flames. Before that, a word from today's sponsor, Boot.dev, longtime partner of the channel and one of the best websites if you want to learn to code, instead of just vibing out to a YouTube video in the background that you then close afterwards. If you guys actually want to learn how to do it, this is the site to use. I hop on the site in my free time because it doesn't feel like I'm actually studying. I'm earning XP, completing quests, fighting bosses, and the whole time I'm actually learning back-end development. Python, SQL, Go, real skills, the kind of stuff that would land you a job with a median salary of 100 grand or probably more, and you're doing it probably from the comfort of your own couch. There's a bear wizard named Boots that acts as your tutor. He doesn't just hand you the answers. Instead, it tries to push you towards figuring it out yourself. And then they also just drop the training grounds, which is basically infinite challenge grind, so you can really lock something in before moving on. It's the kind of thing that really respects your time without just padding out the entire course. All the content is free to read and watch, which means you could just go and teach yourself if you wanted to. Paid tiers just unlock the interactive stuff, the hands-on coding, AI help, and the full RPG experience. Go to boot.dev if you're interested and use my code LegendaryDrops at checkout. That's going to give you 25% off your first entire year on an annual plan. Link is in the description. Guys, 6 years. That's all it took for the price of video games, something that used to be one of the most accessible forms of entertainment, to get pushed damn near out of the reach of most normal people. First came the price increase up to $70 back in 2020, right when people were locked into their homes with not a lot of other options, and people just kind of forked the money over. Fast forward to today, and well, the last couple of years have been nothing but constant headlines about prices going up again and again. Games hitting $80, even $100. Nintendo being the first to break the second of the 66 seals. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Supernatural lately. Then came AI, then came the global trade tariffs. Then it was just a bunch of other convenient excuses that just made the prices go even further up. First, it was Xbox with Game Pass. Then it was Xbox hardware went up, not once, but twice. Then PlayStation raised their hardware prices last fall. And now here we are, just 8 months later, Again, with PlayStation increasing the price
God damn, look at that price. PS5 Pro costs $900 now. Like, let that sink in. That's so fucked up. PS Digital, I still remember we were in US and we bought PS, not digital, normal one, plus two controllers and two games. And we got all of that in $700. I still remember that. We got it for our for people to play it on board. We got few. I specifically chose the offline version because there was no internet on board. So buying digital one was out of the window. That option was out of the window. And we got everything. PS5 plus two controllers and two games and 700. And now only PS5 costs almost 600 $650.
the PlayStation Pro to $899, which is basically brushing up against $1,000 after tax. PlayStation excused this on their website, saying, "With continued pressures in the global economic landscape, we have made the decision to increase the prices of PS5, PS5 Pro, and the PlayStation Portal Remote Player globally. We know that these price changes impact our community, and after careful evaluation, we found that this was a necessary step to ensure that we can continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to players worldwide." Man, guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is just global pressure. It's market headwinds. We just can't avoid it. I don't know what to do. It's AI taking over the world. It's tariffs. It couldn't possibly have anything to do with Sony funding over 12 live service games only to cancel half of them, burning hundreds of millions of dollars in the process.
Exactly. Like these fuckers, these like CEOs and everyone in these companies, they will churn out shit after shit. They will put money into stupid products. For example, like this one, after canceling 8 out of 12, like these many live service games, Sony was trying to get out at the same time. Instead of pushing your money into quality products, they are trying to churn out shit like this. And then once the games fail, for example, like Concord, a recent one like High Guard, instead of taking accountability, these people they blame us players for not buying and supporting their game.
It couldn't possibly have anything to do with the critical lack of first party output, the 8 studios they've shut down over the past couple of years, the
Oh my god, 8 studios they shut down. Oh, I remember they shut down one of the studios. Or what was that? Which made Demon Souls remake. They shut down that studio also. I think they forced them to make live service God of War game, and once they realize it's not sustainable or not profitable, they just canceled it and fired fired them. Like just closed the studio. People who are expert in making single player games, these fuckers are trying to force them to make multiplayer games. And once they fail or they are not seeing any profits in it, they cancel the project and shut down the studio.
estimated $400 million they burned on Concord, or the fact that their biggest bet, Marathon, which allegedly was around $250 million budgeted before marketing, which means it's probably closer to $400 million all in, only managed to make over just $1 million in sales, and less than a month later is now averaging 36,000 players on Steam, a platform that makes up roughly 70% of their audience. Now, yes, I know that Marathon is some divine success that we just can't see and that the developers are in it for the long haul, but I would also like to remind everybody that Highguard had a 1-year roadmap. So
Also, I don't understand like what these guys are trying to do. First, make your base game, whatever you put out, appealing to the audience instead of making all these year-long plans. Like I miss those days where people will just put their heart and soul into base game. Like it will be a full-on experience. Once you buy the game, you play game and everything.
I'm number one, baby.
Yo, Rushi, welcome to the stream, man. These fuckers, like they plan DLCs before the game is even out. This is so stupid.
So maybe let's just come back down to earth for a second. Surely it is global headwinds and not the fact that their live service future is now hanging on a morbidly obese Amazon that lost a foot to die.
Oh my god, not this character, bro. Like another one of Sony's live service games. Horizon, which is famous for its open world exploration and storytelling. These fuckers decide to make a live service out of that. Holy shit, man. Sony going crazy. It's the same mistake they did with Suicide Squad, Justice League. Instead of making Arkham games, Batman Arkham games, which that studio was famous for, those fuckers went to make live service law, Suicide Squad, and we all know how that turned out.
Diabetes. Now, while it might seem like I'm singling out Sony here, I promise you guys that I'm not, because all of these guys are making the exact same mistakes. Xbox just the same. These guys have taken years of players' goodwill and support and money, and they have sacrificed it on an altar of live service, of subscriptions and games that nobody ever wanted to play. And now those same companies are trying to come to you and they're trying to gaslight you into believing that these price increases are somehow out of their hands. Like this is just something of the weather. It's just the market. It's just this unfortunate reality that we have no control over. No. This is cost transference. This is them pushing accountability and the cost of their own failures directly onto the customer.
Exactly what I said. Like these people will burn down their money without taking players' interest or how this will affect their company's future. Like these people trying to chase the live service games trend so hard. Like even what was that? Fortnite. Fortnite started it all. If you look at it, that was one of the first very big live service successes, like battle royale and everything. Till now, that game is going on. How old that game is? Everyone was trying to be the next, uh, what do you call it? Fortnite. The next, the next Overwatch. Overwatch also live service giant. Only one who was able to compete with Overwatch was Rivals. Then Apex Legends. Everyone wants to be like those games, but you can't. And once they fail, they burn down all this money down to drain. What is their solution? Their only solution is okay, raise the prices of the games, raise the prices of the consoles. Like, make it make sense. Like, why are we paying for your failures?
All to keep their shareholders happy instead of just taking the hit, digging deep, and rebuilding their trust and reputation that they have destroyed. Their belief, or rather their faith in this matter, is that, well, the players are just mindless slugs. That the hardcore gaming audience that makes up 18 to 20% of players is just going to keep buying things no matter what. That their demand is basically inelastic. It's unmoving. It's never going to change. That they can raise prices, strip value, and make mistake after mistake, and that crowd is still going to show up and just fork it over. And for everybody else, well, the rest of the sheep will just fall in line too, because they're going to convince themselves these prices are temporary when they are anything but that. Because if any of this was about economic headwinds, then the prices would eventually go back down when those winds change, but that never happens. I'd like to remind people that we were once told that game prices would come down when the industry shifted into digital, but instead we just got the opposite. I'd like to also remind people that the $70 price increase didn't happen until lockdowns when publishers and console makers were making more money than they were actually spending. They had more engagement, more investment that they ever had seen in their entire lives. Even when these guys are winning, they're still pretending like they're losing.
Yeah, like this, I don't understand. Like, how much greedy you have to be, bro. Bro, hope we don't get Xbox trying to sell PC parts next. You know, one thing you can rent PS now, PlayStation 5. You can rent PlayStation 5. I wonder why they provided that option now. And yeah, that also. They lied on your face when they said that game prices will go down once instead of hard copies, we will be selling digital copies. Like what is there to increase price in digital copies? Hard copies should cost more, no? Because they are physical. The cost of making them is there. Cost of shipping those copies is there. Why we are paying same for digital copy as hard copy? I don't understand that concept yet. Xbox selling PC parts, I can see that they might as well do that, bro. Super old clip, no, nice, nice. She will be expensive. Yeah, I mean it's expensive right now. Look at the price of Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass prices increased. Yeah, like see, if you make a profit, okay, out of your customers, you should give some back through your services and through your games. Like if you're making good profit, you should make better games, you should make better gaming experience for your audience, so they will invest more in your products, they will buy more of your products. That's how you build trust with your pro, that's how you build trust with your audience, with your player base. Instead, what they do, they get greedy, and these fuckers increase the game prices from 60 to 70. And now we are at the point where Nintendo can get away with $80 Mario games because those fuckers know that people will buy that shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People are stupid. Some people are still in their like fairy tale. They don't have the grip of reality. Like Nintendo fanboys will buy anything. Nintendo will give them shit. Nintendo will give them shit wrapped in paper and these for $80, and these guys will still buy that. That's how stupid some people are. Even I'm telling you what I will tell you one thing. Nintendo Switch 2, they raised prices. That console went out of stock. People already bought that one. PS5 PS5 raised prices right now. I saw one news. It got out of stock immediately. That also, which one? PS5 Pro edition, which is $900 right now. It got out of market. Like it was all sold. I don't understand people's logic. Like people started crying out loud because Xbox raised their Game Pass prices. Okay, like they were about to boycott Xbox. But on the same note, when Nintendo and PlayStation increases their console prices, these fuckers buy everything in the market. What kind of shit logic is that? Like, what are these people? Where these people come from? Only thing you can do, only thing you can do to hurt these companies is not buy their shit. Only thing you can do is vote with your wallet. When there is less competition, people and company, especially companies, If there is less competition, companies can get away with anything. They will do anything to get profit out of you, and they will get away with it. And you can't do anything because you don't have any other option. You don't have choice at that point.
Now, while I understand that people can and largely will just keep playing what they already have for now, the long term effects of this are going to be brutal. We are already brushing up against $1,000 consoles, and we're not even in the next generation yet, which is likely going to be even worse. That means that this is an industry that built itself on lower and middle income households, and they are now slowly cutting those people out of the picture. Gaming becomes a luxury, hardware becomes a luxury, and I genuinely do not understand how any of these companies can look at that and think that this makes any sense. This is your audience. This is the people that you need. And you're now making it harder and harder for these guys to be able to buy in at all. And, once you start pricing those people out, I don't see how this doesn't kill the console market in the next 5 years. PlayStation, especially, this is making even less sense. If their whole new strategy now is to keep their games off of PC, then shrinking your console audience is just going to destroy you. The
Like this one also, I don't understand. Okay, PlayStation is going towards exclusivity now. They don't want to share their games on PC anymore. And tell me one thing, when when you are not even releasing your games on PC, you are increasing your console prices also. How the fuck you expect more people to play your games? And on top of that, your games are hella expensive also. $70 games. And then when the game flops or does not make enough money, these people, what they will say, players didn't support us, players didn't buy our game. Well, duh, you made it so. Like, I'm not going to sell my kidney to buy your console, to buy your expensive ass games. Like, holy shit.
only way that this makes any sense to me is if these guys have decided that they don't need ordinary people anymore, that wealthy households who now make up the majority of sales can carry the market, that these guys will just keep paying out no matter what, but that math doesn't math. Now, we already know that lower and middle income households are buying less and less hardware, and more of that burden is now falling onto richer households, which is a much smaller market to begin with. Households making over $100,000 a year now account for more than half of all of these purchases for all this gaming hardware, and the price increases that we're seeing is just going to push that threshold even higher, probably into the $150,000 or even $250,000 range when the rest of the economy keeps inflating.
Bro, I wanted Wolverine to get to the PC too, but fucking hell, they started this now, and Wolverine isn't coming to PC. Yes, sir. Welcome to the reality. Welcome to the world of corporate greed, where the one who is paying price for all these fuckers' stupid bullshittery is you and us. Monthly active user 5 for all console games. I'm telling you, bro, these companies will chop off their own legs and then blame you, blame us for their failure.
So now you're shrinking an audience from a little over 40% of the US households to 26, maybe even 16%. And the people below that just don't have any room to be able to close that gap anymore. Which brings me to something else, and maybe this is something that is just too hard for these guys to understand. Maybe they are just too ignorant to be able to get it. But the more expensive that hardware gets, the harder it is for players to enter, which means there are fewer people around to be able to buy games at all. And once that happens, these giant full production games that these guys are making starts making less and less sense.
Exactly my point, he said. The more expensive you make everything, it gets more harder for newer players to get into that hobby and play your games. I don't realize like who else make such decisions? Like what are these companies meeting rooms? What goes in there? Like this is so simple that a normal person can understand it. How come these people are not able to fathom that much? This is some bullshit, man. Next level bullshit.
I want these companies to get better. I want these companies to shrink down, but I'm not hoping for all of these guys to die. But something like this does not give them a future. It strips one away. There's just not going to be anybody around to buy any of these games, and you're just going to choke out the hobby in a lot of cases. And if this is what's going to happen to the companies, imagine what's going to happen to the people that are already barely hanging on and using games as one of the very few things that they could still afford. I really just do not see how any of this works out in the long term. You know, one of the reasons why PC has been taking off over the past couple of years, getting bigger and bigger, is largely because people have been able to stretch older hardware a lot further than I think the industry thought that they would be able to.
He's absolutely right. Like, especially the mid to low end devices, no, people who are not able to afford new PC or new graphics card every year. Like Nvidia be making new graphics card every year, which is not required at all, I think. Not required at all. Games can run absolutely fine. So many games on Steam can run absolutely fine on my GTX 1050 Ti if they are well optimized. And it's just not feasible to buy new hardware, new gaming hardware, or new gaming console every year. These companies don't understand that. And people, what they do, we are not going to, like, common people are not going to buy new laptop or new PC every year. We'll buy what is best at the market at current time, and we'll stretch that to like 4 years. Hell, some people even stretch like to 10 years. One of my friends has GTX 1660 or something. He is playing games on that right now. Like this much people stretch their hardware up to. Like this long people stretch their hardware. That ain't me, bro. Monkeys. If I will be very honest with you guys. If my older laptop, GTX 1050 Ti, Acer Predator Helios 300, did not had the fan problem, like one of the it has two fans, CPU and GPU fan. My CPU fan makes hella noise when it rotates, and I'm not able to get the proper model for the replacement. So I just turn that fan to zero and keep use it as a second monitor. And I was not able to game heavily on that one. So I got new one, Acer Nitro V15, RTX 4050. Otherwise, I would have used that laptop only.
I just seen recently that over 50% of players on PC are still playing games at 1080p, which looks fantastic, by the way. I can attest to this. I was playing on 1080p not even all that long ago. But most of these guys are not chasing the highest end hardware. They're just chasing something that's going to last as long as possible. And also, they're probably not playing a lot of these AAA games anyway, but console's an entirely different beast. These guys don't have a choice. They're gonna get drug forward whether they like it or not. The games start running like garbage, looking like garbage, or the console makers or the game makers just stop making games for them entirely. It's planned obsolescence, but it used to not be that bad because it was over a long period of time and it was still a relatively inexpensive transition to be able to get into, a more exciting transition to be able to make. But no wonder PlayStation has been having such a hard time getting people off of the PS4. People can't afford it, even more so now. That's why none of this, that's why I'm struggling to understand what the broader strategy is here. Honestly, I don't even think there is one, because all this is doing is shrinking your console base, which is also then cutting off new buyers. And by extension of that, it's crashing your hardware appeal, it's killing game sales, and it's just dragging the rest of the games industry down with it. These studios are effectively like stores in a mall, and the console is the mall, but the mall just locked the doors. Now, while I know a lot of people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm just going to, keep getting by. I'm going to coast by on the games that I already have or the hardware that I already have. That's true. But I think that it dodges out on a much larger issue, which is who these guys are locking out. Thinking about the new players, the new people, the young people, the students, the families that no longer can justify buying into this hobby anymore.
Like, say, new people, college people or kids and everything. Like, imagine, like, I will tell you one thing. When I was a kid, I requested my mom to get like one of those cartridge games. No, we used to get when we were kids. I think it was Nintendo only. Mario games were in there, Contra and everything. That one. It used to cost 500 rupees. Okay, 500 rupees for the full console, that gaming rig and everything. And the game cassettes used to be like 50 rupees a cassette. It used to be like this chip, green chip. You fix it in it and you will get two controllers. You will play. I used to play with my brother. 500 rupees used to be the cost of that, which was still expensive at that point. My mom asked me, okay, you get first rank this year, I will buy you that one, which I did. And after that, we got it. We used that shit for like next 3 to 4 years. That's how long we stretched that 500 rupees worth of thing. And nowadays, imagine your kid coming up to you saying, Papa, I want PS5. And when you see the console price, your eyes roll out. Like, what the hell is this price? Is it justified? Yeah, he and getting it. Even the college students, they will get a gaming laptop for like multi-purpose use, like to use it in college, to use it for college work, to do all the Excel sheets and everything, project work, research and everything, and also gaming, which is good. That's why I like gaming laptops. It's multi-purpose. But what's the use of console beside playing games for that big of a price? Like imagine that. What's the use of a console, gaming console? On top of that, the price even, okay, like 800, $900, $1,000 console. Other than gaming, what's its use? Nothing. And then these companies will wonder why our sales have plummeted.
I think we should probably talk about the people that they're locking out. I try to be a champion of fair pricing because honestly, it is just my biggest concern, not only as a content creator, but just as a person. I did not come from money, and no matter how much success I find or how old I get, I'm always going to be worried about how much something costs because it's just baked into my DNA at this point. Even more so with video games because they were so instrumental in keeping me out of trouble and helping me make friends and keeping me sane, and most importantly, helping me save money. Like a lot of millennials, I graduated high school, immediately went to college for something that I was not cut out for, maxed out my credit cards, built up college debt, dropped out, and then found myself stuck working dead end jobs, trying to survive, and just trying to figure out who the hell I even was. Years and years of living paycheck to paycheck, years of feeling stuck. And through all of that, the one thing that I always had was video games, the one affordable thing, the one thing that I could hold on to, the one escape that I had. And now I'm watching entire generations and entire households get locked out of it entirely.
I mean, people don't realize how much video games have helped people staying away from things like drugs, alcohol, bad company, crime, being depressed, or being suicidal. People don't understand how much video games help people. Like, I'm talking about like personal experience. Okay, none of my gamer friends are like addicted to anything. So many of my IRL uh, gaming friends who are like hardcore gamers, they are not addicted to anything at all. And they are one of the most fun people to be around. Like it's more than a hobby. This thing helps us get our minds right. It helps us relieve stress and everything. And people don't understand that. And once you lock this hobby out of people's reach, people gonna be choosing something else over your console. People will go for a more accessible option. For example, like indie games. Indie games are hella fun and they are so cheap and they can run on potato. They can run on potato PC.
The first people getting hit by all this are low income households, which is exactly what is making this so disgusting to me. The people who need access to cheaper entertainment the most are the ones that are being cut off from it, especially depending on what kind of living conditions you grew up in. I got a bunch of friends of mine that would straight up tell you that if it wasn't for video games, they probably would have ended up on drugs or had a kid before they were 16.
Exactly my point.
That's not me being dramatic. That's just real life in this situation. Gen Z, Gen A, students, casual gamers, low income households, all of these groups are just getting pushed further and further out of the market because either these guys just flat out don't have the money for this or they can't justify spending that kind of money on something that they just don't have enough free time to be able to make worth it, especially at these prices. And man, that's just so sad to me because gaming has always had a relatively low barrier of entry. People like to shrug this entire thing off and pull the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps routine or start parroting some TikTok life coach about how you should be spending all of your time making money. But people need joy in their lives or they start to lose their damn minds. Back when I was stuck working at a gas station, back when I had no money to go out, I couldn't go out to concerts or anything like that with my friends, and I felt like I was going nowhere, video games were still there for me. Instead of me blowing my money on drinking or some other dumb shit, I could buy 1 or 2 games a year and I could stretch those games forever. Night after
And yeah, like see what we will do. We will stick to one game. We will stick to one game, and most of the time it will be like free to play game. For example, a League of Legends, Apex, Genshin Impact, like these games. We will stick to that game and we'll play that game whole year, and we'll be happy after that. We'll play like we have like 3 or 4 hour session, and after that we will be happy for the rest of the day. All our stress will be gone. You need some form of joy in your life, man. Being adult is not joyful. You have responsibilities and shit. You have stuff to take care of. And if you don't have some kind of hobby, you're gonna be a miserable. You're gonna be so much miserable. And people around you will not be having fun sticking with you. It's just what it is.
night, I'd be playing online hockey leagues with NHL, or I'd be talking shit in FPS lobbies with my friends, dumping what felt like hundreds of hours into an RPG. And honestly, if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would have ended up. I think what bothers me the most about all of this is that I already know where this all ends. I know exactly what their plan is. It's clear as day to see. They do not intend to leave these people behind. No, they intend to use them, to squeeze more money out of them than they ever could have through ownership. Middle and lower income households and players are just going to get pushed into one lane. Mobile, subscriptions, cloud gaming, maybe even leasing consoles like PlayStation is already.
This is exactly their point. They want to limit the people getting this. What's the word? They're gonna make it hard for you to buy and own a console, and then they're gonna make a money off of it by selling you shit like this, stupid shit like this. They're gonna give it to you on lease, monthly lease, PlayStation 5, renting PlayStation 5, subscription services. This is so stupid. These people, they don't have end to their greed at all.
Floated in the past. All of it sold as access. All of it sold as convenience. all of it's going to be predatory as hell. This is a direct attack on the middle and lower class. It's a way to keep people exactly where they are, stuck in a cycle of smaller payments while owning absolutely nothing at all, paying way more in the long run because the price is broken up just enough to feel manageable while they're able to keep them on the hook forever. And the worst part is that this already works, which is exactly why these guys are going to keep doing it. Earlier, I showed a graphic breaking down where the paid audience is actually coming from, and what stood out to me is how obvious this divide really is. Hardcore players are making up the biggest share of the AAA audience, but the smallest share of free-to-play. Meanwhile, core and casual players, the groups that are far more tied to lower and middle income brackets, are making up the majority of the free-to-play audience. And then I saw something much more uglier start to creep in. A whole category that doesn't register at all with hardcore players start showing up for everyone else. Cards and casino games. Fifth most for core gamers and third most for casual gamers. So when these companies are trying to push out ownership out of reach, they're not just trying to change the way that people play, they are trying to train these people to operate within a worse ecosystem, more exploitative ones. The exact kind of ecosystems that are built to bleed the most vulnerable people dry. This is why I try to warn people. Luckily, there is a bright side to all of this. The more inaccessible, predatory, and disgusting that these people continue to make video games, well, the more they just keep shoving players into the arms of somebody else. And in doing that, not only are they making their own problems worse, but they're also strengthening the very competition that is eating their market share. Competition that respects their time a lot more, competition that respects these players' freedom a lot more, and right.
Let me guess, indie games. Indie games. Have you realized one thing? For last 2 to 3 years, how many AAA games you guys have seen that blew up in the market for good reason? Okay, I'm not talking about Concord or anything who blew up because of its negativity or negative reviews or anything. For its positive aspects, which AAA game have you guys seen that blew up in past 2 3 years? Hell, from like 2000, after 2000, which game have you seen? Almost none. Almost none. And how many of the indie games have you guys seen that blew up? Baldur's Gate 3 got Game of the Year. Fucking indie game. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Fucking indie studio. Mega Bonk, Silk Song, Hades 1 and 2. The list goes on and on and on if you look into it. What was that? Schedule 1. Holy shit, that game. One developer game. And on the other hand, see the AAA industry. The shit that these guys have churned out. Look at their games. How many games failed dead on arrival? People are now learning. Gamers are getting smart now. So yeah, the gamers are getting clever now. They are realizing all this bullshit and all these scams and everything. And they know what is best for them. Support indie studios. This is so fucked up. The more mistakes these guys going to make, more inaccessible these guys are going to make their consoles, their games. More people they are going to push away from them, and then these people will be going for next alternative, which are indie games. And once they realize, oh, these games are actually good, and on top of that they are very cheap and accessible, and they run like butter on your system, and it's very hard after that to get those players back. it, it's gonna be very hard after that to get these players back. And at that point, it will be so late, and your goodwill will be burned to the ground. People will no longer trust your product, no matter what.
Now, that means indie games and Valve. It wasn't all that long ago that we were talking about the pricing crash on Steam, where AAA games were not only losing market share, but getting outsold by indie games, but also that the average price of games being sold on the platform had fell with it. The median price had dropped from around $20 to just over $14. And that matters because, well, it shows that there's still an enormous demand for games. People have not lost interest in gaming. They're just being forced to be a lot smarter with their money. And when given the choice between bloated, overpriced slop and cheaper, better, more focused games, well, more and more people are starting to choose the latter. And Valve, well, they're going to take that a step further.
And I will tell you one more thing. Valve wouldn't have these many players if it would be paid game. Console only Lemo. Yeah. The more barrier to entries you add for a game, less player base it will have. That's clear as day. That's common sense.
Valve updated its regional pricing tools to help developers automate their pricing based on local purchasing power, not just flat currency conversion. And
This system I like so much about Valve. The same game who costs 80 or $70 in US will not cost same in India. The price will be adjusted according to the economy of that region.
that's a huge difference. I don't think people really understand this because instead of just charging somebody what the equivalent of $20 USD is in another currency and then pretending like that's somehow fair, instead, this system is trying to reflect what $20 actually means inside that economy. In some places, $20 is not casual spending. It is a big chunk of somebody's week. So Valve is effectively making it easier for developers to price their games in a way that real people can actually afford. Now, in combination with this, and honestly, the timing couldn't be any better, but we're probably about to see another wave of even stronger indie titles because making them just got a hell of a lot more accessible and a hell of a lot more cheaper. Valve just signed a deal with the makers of Garry's Mod to build Sandbox, a version of Source 2 with simplified creation.
Yeah, this one also. Valve just opened the floodgates with this one. What do you call it? They collabed with Gary's Mod and they gave them their Source 2 engine. And the creator of Gary's Mod, what he did, he made, he took some parts of Unity, he took some parts of Unreal Engine, good parts. He took some parts of Source 1 and Source 2 engine, and they made a system where you can make your games from scratch, especially independent developers, and straight up ship that game on Steam. And if it's good, it sells, you can make profit out of it, which is very good. And the engine is also very well optimized for the users, and it's on Steam. Yesterday, I was watching this video.
Tools and features that are brought over from Unreal and Unity while also still maintaining the kind of optimization and performance that Source is known for, making it easier to not only build great looking games, but also games for lower end hardware, which is a pretty big deal. An even bigger deal, though, is that it's all royalty free. And Gary Newman, the maker of Garry's Mod and Sandbox, explained exactly why when he said, "Valve gave me a chance. I'm already rich. I don't want to fuck anyone over. I only want to give opportunities to the next generation like Valve did to me. We can all win together."
Like read that sentence once. Read that sentence once carefully and tell me how many people in current corporate world thinks like that. How many people in gaming industry, hell, in corporate industry, all the corporate industry thinks like this? How many? Only handful people. You can count them on your fingers.
I want to give opportunities to the next generation like Valve did to me. We can all win together. Man, is that not a massive contrast from the rest of the industry? So now you're not only making it easier for smaller developers to make games of their own, make better games of their own, make more games for more people, avoid royalties, release their games directly onto Steam, but you're also letting these guys keep more of their revenue and also cut down on the kind of overhead that is constantly being shoved straight onto customers. And I think this goes to show just how unnecessary all of this is. While some of the biggest companies in the industry are trying to find more ways to make gaming more expensive, more restrictive, and more predatory, somebody else is out there trying to make games easier to make, easier to distribute, easier to make money off of, and easier for people to actually afford. That's the split. You got one side that's building ladders, and the other side is trying to build toll booths. At some point, we got to stop.
Damn, that line. One side is trying to build ladders, and one side is trying to build toll booths. Crazy.
Pretending like this is just some market or inflation or it's just bad luck. This is a choice. And if this industry keeps choosing to push normal people out of gaming, well, then they're definitely going to deserve what comes next. I remember this one time where I was uninsured, no savings, and I chipped a tooth. And for basically an entire month, I had to eat Tylenol like it was candy until I could save up money. And then I finally got the crown. And when I did, I still had to make payments on it. But the entire time that I was going through all of that, the one thing that I had was that I had a crippling addiction to playing EA NHL, where I was doing these online hockey leagues on a website where you get with a group and you guys play through like whole tournament brackets and stuff. And while it was the only game that I had time for while I was working that much, it saved me a lot of money, and it also saved me a lot of pain. It got me through it. I'll never forget that. And that's why I take all of this so seriously. This is why I want people to have fair access to entertainment, because I know how important it is. And also, going through everything, I also know how predatory the world has become over the years. And I'm going to keep calling it out. I should keep calling it out. Anybody that has the opportunity should, every single chance they get. And, you know, when you're coming from low income, everything is chip damage. Everything is built against you. You know, I had to take a job where I worked across the country, working 14 to 16-hour days, 7 days a week, just to be able to crawl my way out over 4 years to find security. Then I stumbled into this job. Thank you, guys. You have no idea. Thank you, guys. But, you know, the entire time I just learned how everything is built against you. And here you now have these game companies that want to come in and they want to add another layer on top of that. No. Don't let them do it. Walk away. Find something else. Find other games to support. Find other platforms to support. Figure out your hardware situation. Buy a PC. Buy a small PC, a tiny build. You don't need anything crazy, man. You know, even if it's an older gaming laptop, play indie games and do that instead. This is not going to work out for these guys. Abandoning the lower and middle class is essentially just going to dry up all of your earnings. If these guys actually think that they're actually going to be able to support everything using the upper class, it's not going to happen, just because by their nature, the upper class typically does not spend that much time playing these kind of games or spending money on this kind of entertainment. They have other forms of entertainment that they spend money on. And you're just not going to get the same level of income or the same level.
Yeah, like rich people, they have very different definition of entertainment, if you know what I mean. And they will not be spending their money on things like gaming, to be least. Like there is a saying in Hindi, "Bade log, bade shok." It's like that. Rich people don't have these kind of hobbies. Their hobbies are totally different. Gaming is strictly lower to middle class people's hobby. And if you keep those people away from your consoles and games, you're not gonna make anything. You're not gonna make any money. I kind of get it now. Yes, sir.
Level of loyalty that you would normally see from people that are somewhere in the middle. These guys are just going to continue to lose money at an ever increasing rate, and it's going to get to the point where it's just going to collapse these companies entirely. Maybe that's what has to happen. Maybe that's the only way for any of this to be able to fix, is for some of these guys to just straight up go out of business, or to just have their stock cut in half, their staffs cut in half, and their presence cut in half, and then just lose to somebody else. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it on social media. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. I always actually really like seeing you guys posting stuff on social media. I always get a notification or a tag because of it, and it's always like, that's nice. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah. I will share this video on Discord. We talked so much. We almost spent how much? 1 hour, 18 minutes talking about that one. It was hot topic. That yeah, more these gaming companies gonna make mistakes and hard for normal people to play games. People just gonna ditch them for independent developers and Steam, Valve. That's why I like PC gaming. I don't trust these console companies at all. Like you heard, like if you have any third party cartridge in your Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo can officially brick your console. You cannot play games anymore. It's useless after that. They can shut down your console remotely. You know that. And they are making everything in their power to know if you are doing anything like that, which is fucked up. For the console which you paid your hard with which you paid with your hard-earned money. Let that sink in. And what are the odds that PlayStation and Xbox is not going to use same tactics in future? I'm just saying, you need to be very clever, very mindful about how you spend your money nowadays, because everything is not in your favor nowadays. I feel like games that has a lot of communication in them and make people get together instead of grinding alone and not be greedy of money might go insane right now. That's what I'm saying. Like look at all these games like Peak. Are we there yet? Even Schedule 1, you can play co-op. You can play co-op. And those games are blowing off. Co-op games are like skyrocketing right now. People are so lonely in today's world. They need someone to connect with. They need some form of friendship, some form of connection. And if it's co-op game, you can make friends all along. Along the way, you can make friends. Fuck, you can make friends in competitive games also. For example, Rivals, Overwatch. If you have, I made most of my gaming friends through League of Legends. That's totally different though. That the majority, like majority of the loud community is very toxic in League, but an average League player is very down to earth person. If you talk with them, if you try to make a communication, I'm telling you, I started playing League in 2018, and so far I made so many friends online who play League of Legends. I made so many friends playing Rivals. I made so many friends playing Monster Hunter. That's one aspect of multiplayer games. We should games who promote community building are very good and they become so successful. Even Arc Raiders is very good. You know, Arc Raiders matchmaking, how it works. If you are actively looking for PvE experience, you will get matched up against or with people who are interested in PvE. And if you're interested in just running lobby, popping people's head left and right, guess what? You get matched up against same kind of lunatics. It's up to you. That's why these games are blowing up. People don't understand that. And one more thing, if your game runs like shit on medium to low range PCs, it's not gonna make you any money. It's definitely not gonna make you money. Your Steam page or whatever platform you are on gonna be flooded with negative reviews. Nowadays, people are very vocal about their experience because shit is expensive. People are not buying into all this shit. If they buy your game and first day they experience lag or performance issues, they have right to be loud. They have right to write negative review on your game because that's what you gave them for their hard-earned money in the current economy. Gone are those days when AAA games used to be like $40, $30. Fucking $70, $80. How much is that in Indian currencies or current economy? No matter which country you are, you get like month or 2 month worths of groceries in that much of money. And if some person is spending that much on your product, it's your duty, it's your obligation to give them best experience possible. Otherwise, be ready to get negative criticism. And hell, if your game is good, people will praise that game. People will write good reviews. People will do the promotion through word of mouth. Like, look at all these indie games. I didn't knew about Hollow Knight. I was not that much aware of it. But because of Silk Song, I got to know about Hollow Knight also. Now that game is on my wish list. Only thing I'm waiting is for controller. I don't have controller. Once I get a controller, I'm gonna get both of those games and try to complete those. People have forgot about that. That good reputation, how important it is. You can play on mouse and keyboard, but I don't think I will be able to utilize it properly. I want proper experience of that game, which I think I will be able to with mouse and keyboard. Not mouse and keyboard, sorry, with controller. If you have arrow key, you can. Yeah. I know. But I want to do it on control. That's my, what do you call it? That's my decision that I made. Because I played one game, one platformer game, what is called Forgone. I don't know what many people know that. That it was dirt cheap and it looked good, and I bought that game. And I played it, it's good. It reminds me of old days. My keyboard doesn't have arrow keys, so I couldn't. You cannot keybind. You cannot keybind controls. I feel like Hollow Knight on control is better than. Yeah, that's why. That's why. And I asked so many people, they said get a controller. So that's. Okay, I think we had enough serious talk. Let's go play some Resident Evil. We have 1.5 hours in our hand. Let's try to complete as much as possible. Let me change the category Resident Evil. If you're so far in the video and you enjoyed it, make sure to like it, and if you want to support me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video. Peace.